All right. Day 7 of 365 days of horsemanship. It's a little chilly today. You can probably tell by my very red nose. I came today, turned up to a freak snow blizzard. And yeah, actually my sessions were as unexpected as the weather. But still good. Yeah, I can't, I turn up, it's so cold. I don't want to get out of the car. I'm like, got the heating on, like getting changed at my work clothes, like, oh no, I don't want to get out. And yeah, I went down to feed Lawrence and I kind of didn't really have a solid plan. Initially when I turned up before it snowed, I was thinking that I was going to take Mia for a walk because it was so cold. I was going to do the let's go dominance play today because I wanted to get her moving, and I felt that it would be a good opportunity to do that and that she'd probably feel physically better after taking a walk. And so that was a good opportunity for me to be like, I have a really good idea, let's go do it together, and then have a good result. So yeah, have her feel good afterwards. So that was kind of my vague plan. So went down and fed Lawrence, and then went to see her. And yeah, she didn't come up to me at first, and then we sort of got a little bit closer, and she was kind of coming, and I was like, this is good. And then she says hi and she interacts with me with the halter, but then when I go to put my hand over her neck, she pulls away. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a no. That's interesting. That changes things. What am I going to do about that? No, am I going to play with it and see if I can turn it into a yes? Or am I going to say, okay, let's not do that today? Because you always have two choices, right? Or I always have two choices. You can say, okay, that's okay. What do you want to do? Or you can say, that's okay, but do you want to play though? And I wasn't really sure which one I was going to do. So I was kind of trying not to do too much of anything. And kind of asked her again, just a little bit at her hindquarters, just waved the rope in that general direction, just a little flick. And she turned around to me and got the rope in her mouth. And I was thinking, okay, that's fine. Maybe she just wants to play with it for a little bit. And I just had this feeling she was trying to tell me something. She was just so deliberate in what she was doing. And she literally pulled the halter, put it on the ground, then went back and pulled the rest of the line, pulled it and put it on the ground. And then she picked the halter up and kind of gave it back to me. And I was thinking what is going on here? Is she just playing? I don't really know. But I'm really happy that she's interactive. I feel she's telling me things. I don't understand what she's saying. I'm also currently, one of my non-horse projects is that I'm learning Polish. My partner is Polish, so yeah, I've been learning Polish for a year and a half now. Yeah, it's really hard. It is almost as hard as talking to horses, but not quite. But yeah, and I kind of had that feeling that I have when, he's speaking in Polish to his friend in front of me, and I'm just thinking I don't know what you're saying. So I kind of had the same feeling with her. And yeah, and then I went to pick up the halter, and she was still in a freeze, kind of asleep. And I was a bit tense, waiting for her to move to decide what I was going to do next. And it took a couple seconds, and she didn't really move, and I was still kind of ready to do something. And another 30 seconds passed and nothing happened, and I started to notice that I was kind of ready and thinking, okay, I need to just relax a little bit. It doesn't really matter what she does, I just need to relax. And the sun's coming out, and obviously it's spring, so it's just a little April shower, except that it was snow. So yeah, and she's just right next to me. I'm literally just at her left shoulder, really close. And yeah, and she's just still, and I'm breathing and she's standing, and yeah, and I just froze with her, and it was so lovely. It was such a lovely moment. Like I've slept with her before, but I've always come into her sleeping. I've come to see her and she's been having a nap. And so I've walked over and she's like, let me stand next to her. And then I've left. But I've never had it where she started sleeping while I was there. So it was lovely. It was really nice. And there were like a few moments where it was like really deep as well. Like for both of us, where like we were both just like really just existing and being peaceful with each other and each other's company. Yeah, it was very magical, actually. I was unexpected, you know, but actually, yeah, okay, you know, I didn't get anything physical done today. You know, we didn't work on our fitness, but we had a really amazing moment together. Yeah, so I was probably stood there with her for, well, I mean, upwards of 20 minutes, probably. Which is kind of a lot in this weather, to be honest. It's really like 1 degree outside. Yeah, so I started to get cold, basically. And I've been working on this thing of like what are my needs, making sure my needs are met by the session. Obviously there's always compromises, but just trying to be really honest with myself about what I need, and realizing that I'm getting too cold now to give her what I would like to give her, that I'm going to start to not want to be there. And there's no point in me forcing myself to stay longer than I want to stay. And I was trying to figure out how best to leave and try to figure out the best moment. I think maybe I missed a good moment, because the one downside, the one learning point from the session was that I think I kind of chose the wrong moment to leave. And I felt like we kind of left a little bit on a bad note. But because I was so cold, I didn't really feel like I had the capacity to go back and make it better. So I just kind of left it without making it worse. Because I think that we still had good things that came from it. So basically, I kind of like was trying to like wake up a little bit, like move a little bit more. There was a nice moment where she woke up and she looked around, and I think then I could have touched with her. And I think that would have been the right thing to do, for me to have then touched her nose and then gathered my halter and left. But as it was, I just kind of was waking up. And then as soon as I moved the halter, it was like the ears were back and she was moving away. And I wasn't, you know, there wasn't any expectation from me that I was going to halter her. It was just like, she was like, oh yeah, okay, we're done now. But it wasn't like a nice goodbye. It wasn't like we got to be like, oh, see you later. Like, she left. And I think it would have been nicer if I could have like emotionally left her first. But it was really interesting. What I thought was interesting is that she left me because some of the other horses had like congregated from her herd and then the herd next door, and everyone was all like standing together and sleeping. And her and I were like standing quite close together, and all the other horses were like in a pack, in a herd, in a group. And as soon as I went to leave and she decided to leave me, she went straight to her herd to stand there and sleep some more. And I thought that was really nice, because even though we didn't end on the best moment, that action kind of suggested to me that she had felt in the moments prior that I was her herd and that we were together. And then once I said I can't stay, she went back to her herd, back to her other herd. And so that was really nice. That was a really cool moment for me, to kind of see that and to feel that she had let me in. So even though the ending was kind of a bummer and like kind of a negative, I think overall the session was still really great, and I think I learned something from it. And I think that, yeah, like not pushing yourself to your limits every day is like a good thing. I think I'm always the kind of person psychologically who's like in danger of like pushing themselves too hard every day. And I think, you know, you've got to love what you do. You've got to be happy doing it. And I think that, yeah, I was not, I think it's so easy to go too far. And I think it's better to leave early than to leave too late. Like if I'd have left then, that'd have been too early. But again, like a million times before, I left too late. And I say to myself afterwards, yeah, looking back in retrospect, I can see the moment that I should have left and I didn't leave then. But it's okay, you know, we're only human. Come back again tomorrow. And that's the great thing about consistency, you know, as I can come back tomorrow. And I'm actually really excited to see what happens tomorrow. Like, this was very surprising and positive and beautiful. And so I'm really excited to see what happens tomorrow. I went back in to check in on Lawrence before I left. He was still cleaning up a little bit. And so it wasn't really like a great, like, there wasn't much that we could really do together because my capacity to stay any longer had kind of ended, because I was so cold. So tomorrow I kind of said to myself, I said, okay, I wish I could spend more time here with him, but I can't. So tomorrow he's going to be my priority. And I'm going to make sure that we spend some time together, do something nice, before I use all my energy up with Mia, because I want him to get me in a good place. And if I just go and see Mia for 5 minutes tomorrow, that's okay too. I have another commitment tomorrow evening. And that's a day where I would have gone, oh, you know, I'm not coming, like I won't come tomorrow because I have this other commitment. But no, 365 days of horsemanship. So we're going to come tomorrow. We're going to go and see Lawrence. We're going to say hey. We're going to do whatever we can, hang out with him, feed him, and go and see Mia. So yeah, I already have a plan. Look at that. From no plan to a game plan. Cool.